Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Spickard, the president of Musikgarten. Welcome back to the Notes in the Garden podcast. In our last episode, we ended with a slightly uncomfortable pregnant pause. Now, let's join the conversation a little bit before the pause to see how Jeremy, Amy, Ellen, and I discuss the value of teaching Musikgarten even in an online setting. Yeah. Well, this is a good session. We're covering a lot of ground. We're going pretty long, so um, I'm going to skip a little bit of what we had planned and get into, our last kind of big topic, which is really conveying the value of what we do as Musikgarten. Um, and when we're talking about online against in person, a lot of people think, well, you just can't do that. You're not going to get the same value by doing it online that I get in person. And I'm not sure if that's a legit argument or not, to be quite honest. And I'm a big fan of honesty. I still see value in what we do. Um,
Yeah, I hear the pregnant pause.
yeah,
For the first time, we are selling something that maybe our heart isn't there. We're doing it because there is no other choice. Presented with the choice of either stopping my classes or going online, I opted on going online. And there's a big sigh there because I don't know whether the value is the same. Certainly touching a child and holding their hands and going around in a circle is visceral, and here we can't do that online. So we've lost a whole essential of what we do.
well, I'm glad you're saying that, Ellen. That kind of gets the negative out of the way. We get the negative out of the way first, and let's go into what the positive is. Let's go into what we can do.
The flip, yeah, that's where I have to constantly flip to what are you going to get when you come to my studio through this box?
All right. Yeah. So there's still parent involvement, parent interaction. Amy, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that to put it really succinctly, it's better than nothing. I mean, we don't really have the choice, you're right. So we continue music because it's better than not continuing music.
Yes.
It's not the same, but we have to provide it. And then we remember that the music is healing. We're actually giving them something that provides benefit to the whole child and the whole family in a time when everything is feeling, different and very online. So we're bringing something that's different from math and science. We're bringing what we know is crucial to well-being. So there's that. So that would be my first thought.
Gotcha. So it's well-being of the child, and part of that is parents being there and involved in their life. Part of that is it's still active, like you said, with math, science, English, whatever. They're going to be sitting there in front of a screen, dealing with their teacher, dealing with a video from their teacher, like my kids are doing right now. But this is still active.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right, Ellen? Is your class still active?
Absolutely. And that's where we've got that step up from the Zoom or that learning we call learning experience here. If we can express to the parents that we are going to a higher place, that we're connecting to the parent, and then the parent is giving that hands-on experience. Yes, I'm not there to touch them, but they are. And I've been really pushing that at every single class when a child is in front of the screen, and these are the older children, and I'll say, is there a parent nearby? Is there a child nearby? Is there a sister nearby? because we're going to get up and we're going to hold hands and do Billy Billy, and we're going to do, and I want you to feel that back and forth. And those children go running. So for the little ones, sometimes the parent is left there because the child has gone running. And I'll say to the parent, okay, go run and get them and put them up, and let's go around. Let's go in, let's go out, let's go this way, let's go that way. Find their eye contact. So we've got to now send that message to the parents that what we're offering is not the perceived learning experience that everyone is so afraid of. The school experience where you're going to plug that kid in and they're going to sit there all day doing this. But we're doing this. We're away from that screen. I'm giving you the resource. We are a resource-driven company. I'm giving you the resource to do it this way, to touch them, to hug them, to kiss them, to smile with them. That's where I've decided I'm going to go this fall. I'm going to market it. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely that we're creating opportunities for them to be making that music and having those bonding moments together. So it's driving the activity away from the screen and just right there in their own living rooms. I almost feel like from a marketing standpoint, when I go back to one of our other previous podcasts where Ellen was sharing her screen, and you could actually see the children participating. And sometimes I look at my screen and I almost cry because I'm seeing all of them. I made up this I see a moon dance. I see the moon dance.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm watching these children standing up and creating this moon, and they're all moving at the same time, and it's happening on my screen in front of me. And I'm like, if people could just see this screen, I think they would be really surprised to see the participation. It's full. They're engaged, and it's impressive. It's moving, and I would love to find a way to convey that.
Well, I think both of what you're talking about is hitting the nail on the head. I mean, this is your differentiator. This is your marketing message. Everyone's so used to seeing a Zoom screen with talking heads,
Like us.
right? And, as long as you don't have too big of screens and you can really make out how a child looks, I think you could record your Zoom screen of all that movement. And that could be a really powerful Facebook post.
I think so too.
The
I like
video.
that.
Yeah.
And that will stand out because we're all used to seeing a Zoom screen, right?
Right.
We're all used to seeing, around the horn. But if you can show a Zoom screen, and again, because of child identity and that kind of thing, you just want to make sure it's enough that you really can't make out, but you can see the movement.
Yes.
That could be extremely powerful, and it will stand out in a sea of posts.
So we can talk about how movement is the trim tab, the thing that we're transforming this online to a resource, a movement that brings us back into reality. I almost can see something like this where you see children just sitting there trying to take it in or not taking it in.
Right.
And then maybe a blurring, and suddenly you've got 4 screens and the children are dancing with their parent and they're, I wonder, that could be really cool if you can get, say, right now we've got 4, to have the teacher and 3 willing parents willing to almost play act this, where the children are just there and then the children doing something.
Right. If you can ask permission and the parents all agree, then the identity, the child identity laws don't matter.
I think that too.
And so it doesn't matter if they're small.
Yeah.
We're getting excited.
Yeah,
I was
go
just gonna
ahead,
say-
Amy. I'll table mine for a second. Go ahead and say what you need to say. Yeah.
I was just going to say, since we were going to talk a little bit about parent orientation, that this idea of, having a short clip of what it looks like to show the parents so they do get the idea of what it is. Because I think that's one of the hardest things to convey. Well, how does it work? People don't understand. I was in I was going to say happy hour last night. Can I say that? I was in a happy hour last night with two friends who are just brilliant. You know, they're just one's in marketing, and I think actually they're both in marketing, and they're just brilliant executives. And they had no idea. I just started to rattle off the stuff that I was doing for Duquesne University and in a music class. And they were just fascinated because they had no idea. Oh, they're like, this is not just a meeting where you're meeting with somebody. This is a very multi-level activity and very, participatory. So anyway, we can convey that in a parent orientation.
Well, and video is very powerful. Like Jeremy was saying, if you have the parent's permission to use it, then if you record your class, I hate to give somebody something else to do, but if you have a PC or something like that, you can get like HD movie maker, which is I think $14.99 app that you can use, and you can take that clip. You can, if you record a whole class or you just record part of it, you can cut that into little sections.
Yes.
And you can use it for different things. So Facebook, for example, loves video. So you can use it on Facebook. You can use a little clip with a description and a link. Go register. It's going to get some attraction. If you think about Instagram is also a video thing. You have to trim it down smaller. I think they have a 30-second rule. It can't be bigger than 30 seconds or bigger than 60 seconds. I can't remember which one, but if you Google that, Google will tell you what Instagram will take, and you can use those types of videos in different areas. You can even use it on your website. You can give people a good description of what you're doing through the video. Like Amy and both you, Ellen, are saying, people don't know. They don't know what they're getting into. They don't know what to expect. And this is a really good way to show them what to expect, that it's not just, you're not just sitting around watching the screen.
Right.
So it's sort of like, this is not your normal online learning experience.
Yeah.
And it's got to be short, and you could do the normal, the new normal, and now the transformational.
Yeah.
Nice.
And parents are starving for things to do with their kids when they're locked in.
Yeah, and they're going to the brain that says, well, the only thing that's going to keep them from going nuts is it's got to be in person. We've got to change that to, this is in person. I am in person. I am here live. It's not a video. I am here. I'm giving you everything. But caveat, you have to be part of it. You've got to use your adult brain to turn it around and transform it for the child in front of you. So there we go. So I asked the other day, whether, a 3-year-old, do you like Zoom? And then she was like, no, I don't like Zoom. Well, no, they don't like Zoom, but they love what we're doing on it. So we got to get past that. We got to get past for the parents so they don't say they don't like Zoom. Zoom is just a vehicle.
Yeah. Zoom is just a vehicle. Exactly. So that covers, parent interaction. It's an active class. There's movement involved in this. What about music literacy? Are we still able to teach music literacy online?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, in some ways, it's a little more effective. I hate to say it, but
it works well. It works well. And there's so many different ways you can do it. Just with the great manipulatives that Musikgarten already has produced, you can use those with, we've done that in previous podcasts, I think, talked about that. I think that's very, very, it's workable. And I think I agree, it does work. And also you can send them things. You can send them things to print, and then they can work, with their paper, and you're working with theirs, and they can check back with the screen. Am I doing the right way? Okay, now I'm going back to my paper. So a lot of different things you can do for them for music literacy.
Great.
yeah, so there's no question there.
No question. All right. And there's still bonding going on between the parent and the child. We've already discussed it a little bit. And overall, we think about Musikgarten as a community-based program. In some ways, you're still committed to a community. There's still this kind of feeding, especially like Amy was talking about with that screen. Imagine if the children and parents, if they have their screen on the same view that you did, they're seeing everybody doing this at the same time that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still building community.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And in fact, yeah, go ahead, Amy.
Oh, I was just going to say that when I did I did a nature trail camp, and I gave them tasks to do for every day, and they had to go out into nature and find certain things or do certain activities or whatever it is, and then bring it back, and just being able to pull that up on the screen, and we're all seeing, oh, now this is, Samantha's backyard, and this was the flower that they had, and blah, blah, blah. And it just really helped to make it real and out in the world, and bring it together and experience it together.
Yeah.
Which is really what we're going for.
Right. Involvement on their end.
Yes.
So I used Leilani's old tool of the summer keyboard, where each week is a different letter.
Yeah.
And the keyboard kids just loved it. E for elephant, they brought in all sorts of elephants' eggs, just amazing things. They would dress up. The D for the dragon was amazing. E was eerie, and of course Ellen. So, and I don't know if you could see it, but they created I don't know if I can do this, but they created a whole scary story in graphic notation. and they loved, I opened up the piano and I made ghoulish sounds, and
Yeah.
oh my goodness, they were so involved, and there was opportunity. These are all Musikgarten students that are just, they're just thriving online.
Yeah.
So
That's exciting.
Now back into book 3.
Well, that kind of takes me back around to one thing that I had skipped, which is, thinking outside the box, because all these things that we're talking about is really thinking out of the box ideas. Recording your Zoom and then taking that in a little bit of time and chopping it up into different videos, that's thinking outside of our normal box. We'll do this real fast. Let's see how fast we can do this. I'm going to hit Jeremy real quick with this. A lot of the things that we would normally do, which is like laying out flyers, putting out stuff like that at in-person places and things like that, those are kind of out of the question now. A lot of those places are closed, and B, a lot of them, they may not want you putting their paper there because they're afraid of whatever could be transferred from something else. What are some kind of strange, maybe outside of the box options that we have?
Well, you and I were talking yesterday a little bit about it, and what I try to do is put myself into my target audience's shoes and kind of understand how their life is going. And one thing that we discussed was that a lot of people are getting takeout. Restaurants aren't open, all this traditional stuff. A lot of people are getting takeout. So why not approach a neighborhood restaurant that's doing takeout and say, hey, if you'll put my card in each of your takeout bags, and the card should have an incentive, like first lesson free or something. If you'll put one of my card in your takeout bags, then I'll make a post about your restaurant, or I'll post it on my website. That kind of reciprocal deal making could really work well, and you're hitting your target audience, where they're coming. Now you're gonna get some people. You're gonna get an 80-year-old man that doesn't need music lessons for his kids, but that's an inexpensive shotgun approach. And when you're really looking for the geography works well, but when you're really looking for some creative ways to get in front of people other than online, that could be one.
Interesting.
I like that. It's a great idea, because you're right. Takeout is one of the only things happening right now. And it's something people really look forward to doing, and then they plan it into their week. Takeout Tuesday, Takeout Thursday. At least we do.
Yeah.
I know we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about
So, I think we covered everything. We hit, it's still marketing. We're still marketing, doing the basics, and there's still a lot of value in what we're doing. I think we found some creative ways that we can show the value. Any last questions for Jeremy before we have to get off of here from either one of you?
I mean, I had mentioned earlier when we were just chatting beforehand about the Nextdoor app. What's your take on that? I've had some great success with that at least in Columbus. I did.
I'm not as familiar with that app as I probably should be, but I do think that looking for ways to, we can talk about referral systems. Okay. That's really important for parents, because parents really do rely on other parents' referrals. So having a referral program for your existing customers is really important.
Yeah, we're actually doing that right now. And
yeah,
we're cashing in on
very,
it.
very effective. And you can do something for the parent if they, everybody does this. If you bring a new customer in, we'll give you this discount for inviting them. And for when you have kind of a captive audience, and you can ask them that. You can also ask parents to repost something for you. Again, I apologize. I don't know as much on the Nextdoor app, and I'd love for you to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's free, and you download the app. You can put it on your computer or your phone, and it's just for your neighborhood. So when you sign on and you sign up and you put in your zip code, they say, oh, you're in this neighborhood. Welcome. And then your friends get a little notification, or your neighbors will be, hey, so-and-so has just joined. And people connect, and it's the nicest community. To me, it reminds me of what we used to have when it was the neighborhood watch programs that you used to have in neighborhoods. It's like an online version of that. So it could be anything from, hey, watch out, there's a solicitor coming, or, or hey, did you know your garage door is up? That's what we used to get in Columbus. People would kindly say, hey, your garage door is still up. It's like 10:30 at night. But it's also, what do you recommend for this? Who do you get for this? Does anybody know a good babysitter for the area? But then you can also put your business in there. So you've got the personal side, and you can have a business side, and you can say, hey, I just opened a music school and it's here. And the cool thing is that for free, you can not only send to your neighborhood, but you can select all the adjacent neighborhoods to your neighborhood, and they'll show you a map. So you can see all of the thousands of people that you're reaching. So rather than what I feel like, just talking to the same people over and over again, this sort of just explodes it. And when I used it in Columbus, as I mentioned earlier, I had a waiting list because the response was so overwhelming. I had to start keeping track of, okay, this was that 80-year-old who, responded, but okay, I'm going to do adult music for him, and, adult piano. And, I'm putting these people in this category. I've got a waiting list here. It was actually very exciting. So I'm just surprised that more people don't use it, especially since it's free. So anyway, I just put that out there, and maybe we can have a whole podcast on the Nextdoor app sometime.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would work in my community because I'm such a crazy community here, but it sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Certainly covers the geography piece of it.
Right. I think that's nice. And the fact that it's free, it's kind of worth trying, and you just be the gatekeeper of the information you get back.
I like it.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call this session done here. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. We really appreciate it. Again, he is Blue Mandolin Marketing and Design, and now he's residing in a log cabin.
I really appreciate being a part of the conversation. I learned a lot, and so I do appreciate you inviting me.
All right. Ellen, Amy, as usual, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you very much.
And to the teachers out there, if you have questions, please drop them in the drop them in the notes below. Just drop them in the comments. Let us know. If you have ideas, drop them in the comments. And again, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to the Notes in the Garden podcast. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.